My name is Jill. I'm from Lafayette, Louisiana, and I'm teaching English in Prague, Czech Republic, and I'm taking over ITA's Instagram. So I would love to answer any questions you have, and I will kind of take you through my day, my classes, and what a typical day in the life of Prague looks like. I thought I'd start with a tour of my apartment. It is a studio apartment, so here's the living room / bedroom. Here's the kitchen, nice big fridge just for me. I don't have an oven, but I do have like an air fryer situation. Here's the table. This is also where I do my online classes. These are the stairs up to the door because I have a basement apartment, but I do have 2 windows, which is nice. Let me show you the bathroom. Here it is, and it has a washer. I don't have a dryer, but I do have a drying rack and an iron, and all of this came with the apartment. There's a vacuum, also all of the utensils and plates and stuff, that all came with the apartment as well. I teach at a language school, which means I teach mostly adults. I teach business English and regular English, and my language school gives me all of the materials, so that means I don't have to make my own lesson plans, which is really nice. I teach mostly online, but sometimes I have class in person, and that just means I go to the office, which is about a 20-minute walk. So my student ended up not showing up to class today, but that's okay, it happens. The good thing is I still get paid for this class because my language school has a late cancellation policy. So if the student doesn't show up or cancels after 2 p.m. the previous day, I still get paid. So before my next class starts, I thought I would talk about what it's like to work at a language school. So the way my school works is I give them my availability. So I tell them I'm available from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. and then they just try to fill my schedule with classes. So what this means is I can sometimes have big chunks of breaks. Maybe they're an hour or 2 hours, and if I'm at home, I just try to utilize this time to maybe cook lunch or dinner or go grocery shopping or do some laundry, so that I don't have to do it later when I'm finally finished with work. So for example, this morning I started at 10:15 and then I will end at 7:15 tonight. So I just got back from my transit lesson and I have one more lesson for the day, and then I will finish answering all y'all's questions. But first of all, I chose Prague because it was really important to me that I lived in a big city, and I wanted lots of things to do, lots of options, access to public transport, and it was also really important for me to be able to travel around Europe, which the Czech Republic is right in the middle, so it makes it really easy, especially with all of the trains, to do some traveling while I'm here. So the whole process of me getting my TEFL and then moving to Prague took about 4 months, which is kind of crazy, but doable. I found my current job just Googling language schools in Prague. So after I emailed them my resume and a cover letter, they emailed me back asking for an interview. My first interview was just some basic information, and then my second interview was with who is now my supervisor, and she just asked me questions about my teaching experience, why I wanted to teach in Prague, why I wanted to live in Prague. It was really casual, really nice. I'm finally done for the day. Please keep asking questions. They're really helpful for me to know what to talk about, what y'all want to know. So my school does not sponsor my visa. Honestly, if you're working at a language school, you're not going to get sponsored. The only way you would really get sponsored for a visa is if you already have teaching experience and you're coming to teach English at a school, an international school, or a bilingual private school. So yes, if you want to go down that route, I would really recommend getting some teaching experience at home first and then trying to apply for a job here. Okay, so I had to put my phone down and take some notes for this one because it was a very long process, but I'll try to explain it as clearly as possible. I am on the Živno visa, which is also known as the freelance visa. I did use a visa agent, which I really think that everyone will have to do. Just make sure that you Google your visa agent, their reviews, to make sure they're a good one. My agent required some documents. I needed to have a lease agreement here in Prague. and I needed to have a business address because I'm on the freelance visa. My landlord let me use this address as my business address, but not all landlords do that, so you can purchase a virtual address to use. You also needed to prove that you have around $7,000 in your bank account. So I gave all these documents to my agent, and then he set up an appointment for me to go to Dresden to have an interview. The interview was really chill, not a big deal, and Dresden was beautiful. Honestly, great day trip. It was like 2 hours from Prague. I also had to pay a fee of like maybe $150, I can't remember, for this interview. After that, you're kind of just at the mercy of the Czech government. The speed at which they approve your visa depends on the time of year, how many applicants are right now. So it really can vary on the time that you get approved. The only caveat is when you entered the Czech Republic, you entered on a 90-day tourist visa. So after those 90 days, you're really not supposed to be in the Czech Republic. So you really just have to hope that the government will approve you before those 90 days are up. So once your visa is finally approved, you can skip all the way back to Dresden because that's where you have to go to get it put into your passport. You also have to bring with you purchased private medical insurance in order to get that visa. And after you get back to Prague, you will register with the foreign police. My visa agent made an appointment for me and provided a translator for that appointment. I really like Prague. I think it's one of the most beautiful cities. There's always something going on in the weekend, and honestly, one of my favorite things about being here has been getting to know my students. They've been so nice, they've been welcoming, and really happy to recommend places to go, or even like restaurants or activities, and I've been really grateful for that. We've had a lot of really good conversations about culture and history and perspective, and I think that in itself has been priceless. This is a great question. One of the biggest adjustments for me has been the language. So everyone in Prague speaks English, it's fine. It's not a big deal that I can't speak Czech, but it's just the small things, like for example in the grocery store you have to translate everything. You have to find like where the baking powder is, what kind of flour is. They have like 5 different kinds of flours, I don't know why. But and I know these all sound like small things, but when you do it 20 times, you have to find different skincare, you have to find different shampoo, you have to find a hairdresser. All of these things can add up and kind of just be more frustrating. It's very easy to complain about, but at the end of the day, my boyfriend and I like to joke that, yeah, sometimes we have bad days, but we have bad days in front of the castle, so it's really gonna be okay. Another adjustment that I've gone through, more to do with like personal growth, has been how to speak to people. So when you talk to people whose native language isn't English every single day, you get really good at communicating clearly. You get really good at having a conversation because all of the classes, the main focus is for the student to speak. So you have to think of so many questions to ask them and to get them to continue speaking. So yes, I think that has been a really, really big difference in my life and my personality and overall just confidence and my ability to talk to people.